Hey, why do we do what we do? That's a great question, isn't it? Why do we do what we do? We all make decisions every day. We have to make 1,000 decisions on what we're going to do, right? And sometimes our decisions are great decisions. We get up, we get a shower, right? We drink some coffee, we go to work, we do our job, we come home, we spend time with our families, and things are great. Everything's beautiful. But then there's other times where we, right, decisions that are like, what in the world was I even thinking on that one? When I was in college in my senior year, there was a river that ran behind our college, the Beaver River, and two of my friends and I one day were down by the river hanging out, just messing around, and we climb up on this bridge and we jump off the bridge into the river. Who? What? Why? It was pretty high up, and we sunk down all the way to the bottom of the river, and our feet went in the mud, and it was horrible, and we had to swim back, pull our feet out of the mud, and swim back up. That could have gone south and had a horrible ending, and luckily, thankfully, it did not. Why do we make those decisions? Because they're fun, they're exciting, they're easy, they're right. All these things come into play. We get to do what we want when we want it, and hopefully we get this result that gives us this feeling of pleasure or excitement, and sometimes they're not always the best decisions. Jesus chose 12 disciples. And out of those 12, 11 were Galileans. One was from a town called Kerioth, and he was a different type of guy, and his name was Judas Iscariot. Judas was in charge of the purse for all the disciples. Any money that was donated, he would take care of, and he would make sure that they had money to buy food and lodging if they needed it. And oh yeah, and by the way, he took money out of the purse and stuck it in his own pocket and spent it on himself. So that's a horrible decision, right? Then he makes another horrible decision down the road. He goes, meets with the Pharisees and says, hey, I'll betray Jesus to you for 30 pieces of silver. Again, here you go. This seems to be Judas's bad decision, right? Money. He steals money out of the purse. He goes and betrays Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. And maybe he was hoping that he would force Jesus' hand to be this great Messiah that everybody thought the Messiah was going to be, come in and kick the Romans out and save them all, restore the royalty to Israel like when King David and King Solomon were there. But instead, everything goes south. And he then makes another horrible decision and commits suicide. Now, when we start to look at Judas's life, we go, man, he made some horrible decisions, didn't he? Some of the worst decisions ever. But here's the thing. Even in the midst of bad decisions, God can do awesome things. Even though Judas betrayed Jesus into the hands of the Pharisees, 3 days later, Jesus rises from the dead. You see, because God knows what he's doing. Even in the midst of everything, in the midst of bad decisions, in the midst of betrayal, in the midst of thievery, in the midst of all these things that can go on around us, God is still working, even though we may not see it at the time. May God continue to pour out his grace, mercy, and blessings on each and every one of us until we get to meet again. Amen. Amen.